We have been with the company now for 15 years, a little over 15 years. And we're just excited because we're constantly learning things. But we got started, like many of you, if you're new, to maybe make some extra money, get the product at a discount, get results, and kind of go from there. And so what I was excited about is we saw results. We were excited. I didn't really know what I was doing other than I knew people wanted it just like us. We were going through bankruptcy. Times were really tough. People didn't know that. But looking back, one of the things that I was praying for was if somebody could just show me how to make some extra money, I would do whatever they told me to do. And so when we were presented this, we saw a girl lose weight and asked her what she did, and she talked about It Works products. I was like, I want to do that too. And where do I get the product? And she said, well, you could be a rep if that's what you want to do and make some money too. So no hesitation. I mean, a little
I was
bit.
all in.
Joel was in, and then I was like, oh no, it's network marketing. I don't know if I want to do that. But I was like, well, if I can get the discount and maybe make some extra money, that's really what I wanted to do. And so here we are over 15 years later. So maybe that's where you're at, newbie, or somebody that's coming in and just tiptoeing a little bit. And looking back, one of the things that I wish I would have done was even gone faster, jumped in quicker, not worried about what people thought because nobody was paying my bills but me. And I needed a way to do that. And so for a lot of the people that are on, maybe that's you, you're here because you wanted to make money with good product, and you're excited to do that.
Is anyone here to make money? Put a
Yeah.
hand up or a one in the comments.
Yeah, I think everybody is. And when we go about this, a lot of the things that I've seen through the years is when I see people having success, I'm not afraid to ask or I'm noticing what they're doing. And there's generally a pattern. So last week we had a great Zoom. If you didn't watch that, watch the replay with that. But this week I'm going to ask her if she goes by Cara or Cara because I want to make sure I have that right. But I asked her a couple weeks ago if she would be on the Zoom because I keep seeing her name at the top of the leaderboard. And so the same thing last week, I saw Taylor's name continuing to be on the top of the leaderboard. Like I said, go back and watch last Monday's. She got great tips. And so I'm like, there's got to be something that they're doing very similar. And sure enough, when I got the inbox for what we're going to talk about tonight, I saw a lot of similarities. So success leaves clues. We don't do these Zooms just to do these Zooms to waste your time. We're going to get you on and get you the things that you need to do to have the success that you're looking for. And that was me, always like, if you just tell me what to do, I'll do the things. So we're going to bring on Cara and have her explain what she's been doing. And she should be able to screen share a little bit. But I wanted to hear it because I hear it from her because I think you guys sometimes you think, well, there's got to be some magic pixie ducks or something, like what is this? And so what the magic is in you. That is the key that I know is you have to make the decision to do the work that they're going to share week after week. Whoever is on is they made the decision that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the success that I want. Now, whether you're brand new and you're like, okay, I'm nervous, it's okay to start there. You got to just do because you'll learn that way. Maybe you've been in for a while, for a couple years. Maybe you've been in longer and you're like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of where I'm at. And I really need to commit and do it and not just go through the motion, but have the success. And so this is going to be a great Zoom for newbies just starting, people that have maybe been in, they went through kind of their warm list and they're like, now what do I do? And then for those that have been in for years and they're like, was I one hit wonder? Can I still do this? What is it going to take for me to kind of break that glass ceiling where some of you are at? And so tonight is the night. Are you guys ready? Drop some hearts, drop some love in the chat if you're ready to just become a mass customer enroller month and distributor enroller month after month after month and your team having the success. Okay, I think they're ready. So Cara, you're going to have to tell me your name because I don't think I've ever actually heard it out loud. So you're going to have to first say that and give us a little story. And I think you should be able to unmute.
Okay, thank you. That was like quite the introduction, and I need to make sure I'm not going to echo. I'm hiding out.
I
Uh,
love it.
do I have an echo?
No,
No,
you're
you're
good.
good.
Okay, good. Okay, so thank you. There's like no pressure now. Just kidding. I'm Kara. Kara. It doesn't matter though. My kids call me Karen sometimes whenever they're not happy
Oh,
with
that's
me.
funny.
So, so you guys, I've been in the company for it's almost 10 years, 9.5 years. And I joined after telling someone no for 2 years. She kept asking me, and other people had asked me. And I'll tell you what really set me over the edge and made me say yes is that a pharmacist in our town was like, "Hey, girl, can I call you? I have something I would like to talk to you about." And I thought, well, that's weird because like I don't even talk to this lady, but she's on my Facebook. And she called me and she was like, "I think you would really be good at this." And it was at Works. And people had asked me previously, and I had every excuse in the book. I said I had a non-compete contract, all these things. I don't even know if I really did, but I listened to her. And then I thought about it for 2 weeks, and I went to everyone's Facebook who had ever asked me. And the lady who had called me even didn't have anything really on her Facebook. But one of my sorority sisters that had asked me like 20 times had just earned a bonus. And so I saw that and I messaged her and I just said, "Hey, I would love to chat about what you're doing. I think I might be interested now." And so I knew when I got on the phone with her that I was going to sign up. And that's just your cue to be consistent because you never know who's watching. Like, I didn't like any of her stuff. I told her no, right? She didn't block me. She didn't delete me. She just like let me keep watching. And eventually I came around because I was just tired of having so much more month than money. Like, drop a one in the chat if you can relate to that. I was like, every month we were on this hamster wheel and I had a really good job. My husband had a good job, but it was like, I felt like I was going to just pay bills and die. And for me, the moment when I decided I was laying in my bed, I was watching my fan go around. I'll never forget. And I thought, this cannot be all there is to life. Like, I have to do something different. And so that's how my journey began. It's been a long journey. There's been lots of ups and lots of downs. We've had a lot of life happen, but because of this business, it's given us options. So when things got hard, we were able to have choices. And working from home is such a blessing. You guys, we had a fourth baby because of this business, because I was at home anyway. And I was at home with her for 5 years. She just started preschool this last year or this year. And you can never get time back. And so if you aren't doing it for yourself, do it for your kids, do it for your family, do it for your husband, do it for your parents. So whenever they get older, you can be with them, because time is just so priceless. And so fast forward, Stephanie's like, "What changed?" I went presidential. First, I went diamond after conference. If you don't have your conference ticket, get yours whenever you can and definitely make it a point to be there. And I went diamond after conference. I was 8 months in, double diamond after that, and I set. And I like to tell that story because I set for 2 years before I went triple. And then I went presidential a few months after that. And the difference, everyone always says, like, what was the difference that took you from double to triple, like the 2 year gap, right? And honestly, you guys, it was mindset. And so if you're not reading books, like everyone talks about that, but it just helps you grow your mind and it gives you ideas for like a new post. It gives you ideas for a new product or new product messages for new things. You need to be really reading books or listening to audiobooks, whatever works for you, because every time that I do self-development, like I kind of go to a new level. So I went presidential and then I fell back to double diamond and I kind of maintained that for a while. And then earlier this year, my account went to diamond and I was like, okay, something has to change or I'm going to have to go back to work. Right. And so I just got super serious. My husband looked at me and he was like, "You can either go back to work or you can work for yourself, but you're never going to make as much money as you make with It Works if you actually work the business." And it's so, so true. So this is what I did. I got a job working from home. I made less than $800 a week. I made more with It Works. And I was like, this is dumb. Like, I couldn't, you guys, I was holding my computer up in my car to pick up my kids, like for like pushing the button. Like, that sounds so bad, but I was, because I had to be clocked in, right? Like I was on someone else's time, or I would be like, you just can't ask off, right? Like I couldn't just go get my kids on a whim or anything like that. And so I was like, okay, this is not working for our family. And so I honestly just took the time that I had and I started working at Works. I work about 25 hours a week now, and anyone can do that, right? You guys are probably like I do have an activity real quick before we get too far in. If everyone pulls up like their phone and you look at your, if you go to settings, go to your settings on your phone and click, I think it's battery percentage. Like, you know how you can see your battery percentage? Let me do it with you guys. If you go to settings, and the reason why I want you to do this is because this is just proof that if I can do this, you guys can do this too. If you go to settings and you click, I think it's battery. I should have done this before. Battery, yes. And then it will just populate and it will tell you how many hours in the last 24 hours that you've been on your phone with your screen on. And it'll tell you for Facebook, it'll tell you for Messenger, it'll tell you for Instagram, it'll tell you for everything. And I want you to think if you actually spent every hour or every minute that you're on your phone, instead of being the consumer, if you're actually working your business, instead of consuming reels, right? We're working. That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, you cannot be on your phone as much as me because I make money on my phone. You're
Yep.
consuming content, I'm producing content. There's a difference. And so, you guys, you just need to make sure that you're spending your time wisely. And so, sorry, that was a really long story, but that is how I got here. That is how I kind of got a restart. And now, then I took my account last month, double diamond again, and Justin's, my husband's diamond, and he's about to promote to double diamond this month as well. So,
I mean, it's such an important thing to share your story because I think people always just think it's just straight up and straight up. There's no ups and downs. And I love that ultimately we get to make the decision. Each one
yeah.
of the people that are on, right? You get to make the call of like, okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to look at my phone. I'm going to get my act together and I'm going to get on. And I tell a lot of my friends this and even my leaders, hey, I'm not one to be on and like scrolling and like loving on all of your kids' posts or anything like that. This, when you treat it like a business, it's different and you feel like you do have more time for the other things that you have that are important to you as well. So I love that you shared that, but you definitely have turned it around and it's like getting some bonuses. And so I think it's important for people to hear like you've gone through those a lot of different seasons and have sat there and each time it's like that making that decision like this is what I'm going to do. I love what you said at the beginning too of you went back and looked at who had asked you and you went and looked to see what they were posting because that is key. That is so key because they want to see a little bit of everything. Are you still doing the business? Is there before and afters? Is your life, in there, all the mix? Is there stories? Everybody needs to go to your Facebook because I did that because I'm like, there's again clues to success, right? And one of the things that I talked about, and I'll, kind of bloop it in here because you might not, is I noticed that you share stories of other people. I
And
noticed you,
that's newer. Okay,
I
so that's
love
newer.
that.
Yeah, so I we stopped sharing stories in this company years and years ago. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go find people's stories and share them, right? Because you guys can use everyone's stuff, right? Like that's what's good about this company is you guys do, if you're new, you do not need to recreate the wheel. I tell my newbies, I say, just copy the right cat. Like go to those leaderboards on the Road to VIP page, you guys. Look at the top producers. I still do that. And then you go to their page and you're like, what are they doing? How can I do this too? Right. So like they post their kids, well, you post your kids. Like they post it before and after, you post it before and after. But stories is so huge. And I think I've enrolled like 17 DTs this month at all full price, you guys, all full price. And it's because of the stories. Like if I post a story, then a couple days later, I'll have two or three people sign up, and they don't ever get a lot of likes or a lot of comments, but people read the story. So if you're not doing that, start incorporating those again into your Facebook because it is a game changer.
I'm glad I noticed that because that was something I was like, I haven't done that in a long time. I can add too. So we're not perfect, right? We can always grow from this business. Being at the top, I'm always like, oh my God, am I even going to get anybody this month? Like I question that too, because it's like, really, are there people out there? But yeah, there are. And we can always add too. So I love, again, you kind of screenshotted some things that you want to do. So I'm just going to kind of let you go into kind of what your day is, how you've been so consistent not only did you have had a month, but you've been consistent. And so that's huge for people. You're like, okay, everybody on here, maybe you can have a big month, but can you consistently do it? Absolutely, you can. So I'm just going to kind of let you take over now and kind of share what you shared with me.
Yes. Okay. So there's a lot to what I do now just because I have more time, right? My kid's in school. So if you're like, I don't have that time, that's okay. I made it to presidential diamond working. I don't even, not that much. Not as much as I'm working now, but now it's different because I have a new goal, right? And when you set a new goal, you guys, this is my goal. They're building a new house for me. It's 2 doors down. And I'm like, okay, why can I not go ambassador by the time that house is built, right? I should be able to. Like that's my mindset. And so every day I drive by that house and I think, oh gosh, I got to get back to work.
I love that.
That's all.
I'm like, it's going up really fast. So right now the roof is on and they have the framework. So I have some work to do. And your work is never done. And our pastor was talking about like this last week, whenever you wake up every day and you have a purpose, right? And that's like, I feel like this business, you guys, is such a blessing and such a gift. And so when you offer it like that, it's not like cringe. It's like such a blessing, right? And so every day you have to ask people. And so let's start with host to post. I get up host to post every single, well, I say every day, lots of days. I'm a bulk worker. So if you're consistent, like, sorry, we are not the same person like that. Like I would rather get up 20 to 30 host to posts in one day and the next day be able to do something different because that's the way I work. Like, does that make sense? And so
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not like, I get up 10 a day. No, I might get up 30 today. And then in 3 days, I'll be like, oh, shoot, I need to get up 30 more, or 10 more, or 5 more, or whatever it works. Right. And my goal is always to get up 200 host to posts a month because I know if I get up 200 host to posts, then I will sign around 5 to 6,000 volume. If I can get up 200 host posts and have people highlight the comments, that is so key. If you are not doing that, I shared that with Stephanie. Whenever
Mhm.
you send a host to post, you guys, you're like, hey, I would love to enter you. All you need to do is post this highlight the comments and message me done. So if you're not doing that, it's one simple step, right? And so what that does is, if you don't know, it's going to alert all their followers or some of them or however it works. And then you're going to get way more comments, way more comments. And so that's the first thing. Someone said they've been doing it. It's a game changer. It is a total game changer. And if they don't do it, I just go back and say, hey, do you mind highlighting comments?
Mhm.
Thanks so much. Right. And so that's the first thing, host to post. And I have an Instagram and it has like 25,000 followers, you guys. I'm not even using it. Like I don't have any enrollments for this month. I'm just doing what works. So right now, host to post is working. I'm sharing stories, sharing products. And then the biggest thing is labeling your inbox. If you're not doing this, it's going to change your life. The first night I did it, I signed 7 customers. And so what you do is you just go to your messenger and you guys can click on anyone's name. And then you're going to click on their name at the top. I haven't done this one yet. So you just click on her name. And then where it says nicknames, you're going to click on her name and you can rename it. So I always name it. Okay, if it's like burn, I use like a fire, right? If she's interested in burn. If it's like slimming gummies, I use a strawberry. It's very simple. You guys can come up with your own emojis, but I just name it emoji, their name, and then the product, right? And so it would be like uh, a fire, Carla, burn. And so this is why it's so key. So then it just pops up one time for them that you did rename the conversation, but people have asked me, it's like a mental thing, I think, that they're like, isn't that weird? And it's not weird at all, you guys. They already told you they're interested in the product, right? You're labeling it. They don't see their name like that every day. They just see it one time in the conversation. No one has ever said anything about it. And then why this is key is because then when there's a burn promotion, guess what? All you have to do is go to that, like search the burn emoji, and every single person you've talked about, right? Or you don't have to search it. You can just scroll through your inbox and it's already organized for you. But like I'm renaming conversations even from like March, and people are like, hey, I'm still interested in that, right? Or you can just be like, hey, are you still interested? And so then if I send them a shopping cart, you just put a space in the shopping cart. And the reason why you put the space is so you can search the shopping cart. And anybody who has a shopping cart is just anyone who has a link. And you guys can go back to that at night, every night. And I just say, hey, I'm placing orders. Do you need help? Like I follow up like it's nobody's business. And that's probably why my numbers are so high. It's because I'm following up a lot.
Yeah, that's key. But I'm just looking at these chats, my phone's going off like, this is genius. Oh my gosh. I know because I you sent me the picture with all the fire emojis, and I was like, oh my gosh. It's such a simple, quick, easy task to be done. And once you have it and once you're doing it, oh, that's a game changer. Like I'm so grateful for that tip. And you guys, there's plenty of fish in the sea. This isn't hurting anyone. And so I love that you're sharing that because, when everyone rises, it's a good thing for the company. It's not a bad thing. So this is where if you have something that's working and you're like, it might be just a little something, but that is literally a game changer for so many. Like my mind is like, oh, it will make my life so much easier because of all the different conversations with like you have distributors that inbox you, all of these things that as you're growing as a leader, it gets mixed in the inbox. So last week when we did inbox cleanup, this is going to add even a whole nother level of like easy,
Inbox
like,
organization.
yeah, it's just you guys
Yeah,
drop
it's fire.
fire emoji or a five. I don't know, like in the comments and be like, is this helping you? Because it's like, I'm super excited to get off the Zoom and go work. So that's how excited I am. Okay.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to work on, I don't take offense.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So continue on. There is more.
You have to pay
Hey,
attention
I'm
because
glad
you have
that
to
you guys
ask the
liked it.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, ask away. And so yeah, so also if they're a potential distributor, I just put like a little phone and I just put their name and then put social media income. And the reason why I do that is because they see it, right? And then I just like you have to beat something, not beat. You have to like someone has to see something what 7 times. And I tell my new distributors this to really purchase, right? And so think about it. If you're messaging with a product, that's 1 time. You're following up, that's 2. You're renaming the conversation, that's 3. You're saying, hey, are you just checking? Or hey, I say, hey, love, are you still interested? That's 4. And then if they don't answer me at that point, this is what I say, and you guys are gonna laugh. I'm just like, hey, just checking in. Are you still interested, or do you want me to take you off my list? And almost every time when I say that, people are like, no, do not take me off this because
Yeah.
people want to be included, you guys. And so, um, and then if they don't, my girls are gonna laugh that are on tonight because they're like, "Are you gonna say this?" I'm like, "I wasn't going to, but I will. I can be a little ratchet." If they don't answer me after 7 times, or I don't really count, like after the conversation
Yeah.
said, like I'm like, okay, you're like it's over. So I just put a little cricket emoji and I archive them and I just move on. And so some people will message me and they'll be like, oh, "Hey, I'm still here," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can take off the cricket."
I
Like the
love that.
silent.
I love that. It's like all the emojis. Okay, so this is a good question. I don't want it to go too far down because I am going to use the cricket. Um, when are you naming the conversation? I saw that. They're like, are you naming it right away?
Yes,
Okay.
instantly. So like they comment on okay, let's just start at the beginning. Someone does a host to post. I reply to all the comments and I just say, hey, I'm like, let's say Stephanie did my host to post or did a host to post for me. I would just be like, hey, I'm the friend that who Stephanie mentioned. Please add me as a friend. And I just say an MSG because like it's just
Hmm.
like a shortcut to message me burn or whatever. And so then I still go and I would like friend request the people who comment, and then they will add me as a friend and message me. But here's the key to that as well. If you're messaging all for burn, which is pretty much what I'm doing right now, then you can go to your friends list and click sort by newest. And if you are just messaging from host to post, then you can just go ahead and message all those people that maybe haven't messaged you yet, that have added you, the newest friends. You can
Hmm.
still message them about the product. So that's another way that you don't keep, you won't lose people. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
so like
I've never done that. So yeah, it makes total sense because I'm always like on my host to post, like send me a friend request and I might not even realize if they did or not because again, I've been doing things for so many years and it's a constant. So that makes absolute sense to me. And I think it will, newbies might be like, I don't know yet. You will. Like,
yeah,
just remember to save this Zoom to rewatch and to send to your newbies as they're going. So
yeah, and there's
I
no,
love
you
that.
guys, and since I have so many newbies, I always tell them there's no wrong or right way to work this business, and you're going to learn something and you use it, and you're going to learn something and you use it. And if you're like, whoa, this is a lot, that's okay. You might not need it today, but 6 months from now, you might be like, okay, I need to start this or that, or I need another tip. And you just like kind of
Yeah.
accumulate all these tips, and then all of a sudden you've like perfected your craft. So
Yeah.
that's just what
I
that is.
I love that. So you guys, if you can go ahead and just start at the beginning now and name the conversation, and you might have, like she said, old conversations. So for me, have a ton of conversation. I can literally go type in burn and it'll pull it up, and now I can rename all of those with the fire emoji in their name and burn. So that's kind of where you're at. Like,
Yeah.
if you've got your posts out, if you're doing things and you're like, oh, I need to stay off of Facebook for a little bit, this is some back end work that's good in between when you're feeling like, oh, I might have messaged too many people or something like that. That's how I would do it. I don't know if that's what you do, but that's something for me is like I can go back and forth a little bit. So hopefully that
Yeah,
helps.
and then as soon as they become a customer, I just change it to their name and customer, because this is what that does for you. When you're scrolling through your inbox, if we have like a 20% off promotion, then I just go through and I message just all my customers. And I'm just like, hey, we have this promotion. And since you're my VIP customer, you can take advantage. Is there anything that you would like to try? Like when we had that last like 20% off. And so it really is a game changer because it's so organized. And I'm not a super organized person, but it's so organized that it's everything you need. Like it's so you know
Yeah.
who's customer, who's not a customer. It's all right there in your inbox. And so you can kind of like bulk work. And that's where I really do my best. And so,
I love that. I love that. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, better watch out. I'm gonna be top of the leaderboards, like on fire.
oh
And like
gosh.
I feel like everybody should be on top of the leaderboards with this. I think that's the thing. It's like to be able to see, multiple people have high digits. That's what we want on a consistent basis. And you've got the method that works. And I don't think this is hard for a newbie or for anyone that's ready to go for it, or you've got a ton in your inbox to just recreate. So okay, let's go on. Is there more? Was it?
I think so. Okay, so labeling your inbox, following up. You guys, you cannot follow up too many times. You need to follow up. People are like, how often you follow up? I follow up 10 minutes from when I send a cart. I follow up 5 minutes from when I have a conversation. It's your job to sign customers and distributors. So if you know they're interested, right? And pretty much everyone, if you're doing host to post and you're posting on your wall, you're going to be talking to basically everyone's interested, right? If they comment on the host to post, they're interested. And so I just like literally, if you're like, hey, this is what burn, this is what it does, and they see it. You can see when they see it sometimes, and I'm like, hey, did that come through? And they're like, yes, whatever. Okay, so then I'm like, awesome. Are you still interested? Like, you have to like keep the conversation going. So you guys need to learn to always end in a question, which I know if you've been here for a long time, you probably already know that, but you always ask a question because it will keep the conversation going, right? And so then if they have a cart and I'm like, hey, I'm placing orders, do you need help? Right? Like if you're not offering to place orders, you need to do that tonight, because I have a new girl that did that and she signed like 600 volume in 2 days by just going back to everyone who is interested and offering to place the order. Um, and so there are certain things like that, just following up a million times. You cannot follow up too much, and you're not bothering people, you guys. They're interested in your product. Like they want the product. People are busy. So it's your job to really like help them get started.
Yeah, I love that. You guys, when I'm looking at this, she's talking about burn when I saw what she sent. I think my assistant has these. Do you want me to drop in the chat for you so you can be like,
Yes, please.
okay, so Laura, you should be on. Everybody in the comments, chill out for a second because we're going to give you the scripts that are kind of used. So she should be able to go on there. Can you text Laura? She should
Okay,
be.
thank you.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
so I message everyone about burn, and then I do an upsell. So either you can stick with that or you can upgrade to the pack. And that's basically what I tell everyone. And then if they do the pack, then I offer aloe as another upsell because then they get free shipping. And so that's what basically everyone gets unless it's like a different product, but that's all I'm host posting for.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
gonna put them in there,
okay.
so I'll give her a second. But I think the way that you worded your aloe was definitely a little different than the way I did, and I actually like the wording of that. Again, you guys, there's gonna be so many different variations. If something feels good to you, try it and use that. Ultimately, it comes down to like, how does your heart, head and gut all feel about it? Because you're gonna probably feel more confident that way. But I love that. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good one for me to go back to on some of them. before we jump any further, I do want to ask this. Can you explain again the shopping cart like space thing, like how you are putting those in
Okay, yeah. So
there?
if you send someone a shopping cart and you have their name, let me see if I can just pull one up. You have their name and the product, then you just rename the conversation again and just put a space and then a shopping cart because you can't search the shopping cart if it's part of the name. Does that make sense? And so
So
that's why you,
so space and then the emoji shopping cart.
yep, you do.
Okay.
Because you know they have a cart. So then at night you can just search the cart and everyone who has a cart, you're just going to go back and be like, hey, I'm placing orders. Do you need help? Hey, I'm placing orders.
Okay.
Do you need help? And so it really helps you like clear
Yeah.
out your shopping carts for the next day.
Yeah. That
Um,
makes sense to me that way because I was thinking like, oh, does she actually put the actual shopping cart that she sent them into the chat or
oh
what?
yeah, no,
But
sorry.
that makes sense. It's the emoji. So you guys
Yeah,
need
I don't. Can you
clarification.
guys see that or no? Like how there's a shopping cart on
Oh
there?
yeah. Yep. So it's
Okay.
just burn plus space shopping cart.
Yeah. So just the product. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's
Perfect.
gummies, I just say skinny gummies or whatever the
Yeah.
product is.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So these conversations, the first one is just how what you can send with your host to post. And the second one would just be like the original conversation for burn. Thank you for putting these in here. And then the last is the upsell and then um, the aloe upsell. So really
Yeah.
there's kind of two upsells. But so here's another thing. I'm asking everyone who has two or more comments to become a distributor. And I think that's really important. If you guys aren't doing that, all I say is, hey, have you ever considered making money with this? You could easily like rock this. It's on fire. Like that's all I say. It's like so simple. And they're like, yeah, send me info, right? And so if you're not asking your host to post people to join the business, then you should definitely start doing that as well. But if you okay, I have some girls that trust they feel like they struggle with distributors. I'm like, you don't, it's your mindset. But if you feel like you do, all you need to do is add another option onto all of these scripts that says, or you can upgrade and have the option to make money with the business for just $99 and get free products with that, or whatever you want to say. Because if you're getting a bunch of customers, then you should be able to sign a bunch of distributors too. You probably just aren't asking. And so my girls that are like that, I've just had them take all their scripts and the last option, they're offering the business. And people will naturally upgrade to that. And
Yeah.
so that's like a natural way to sign distributors. If you're like, I'm really comfortable with getting customers, well, just add that option in and then you're covering it every time. And you don't have to like, I don't know, just like a mindset thing.
It, it really does come down to it. Usually, like, I'm like, okay, I'm on a roll with customers. Oops, I didn't offer the business. Like, it is. It's just like, oh, have this goal that I want to hit. And I'm like, it's not doing, we should ask every single person, you guys, truly, because if we don't and they fall in love with the product and you didn't follow up with them, you're not checking in, they could see a business post on someone else's. Like, Kara did to join, and all of a sudden, she's joining with somebody else. So they could do that for you. So make sure you're doing that.
See, the reason Stephanie has a hard time hitting her customer goal is because she asks them to be a distributor. So every time she gets to like 10, three of them become distributors. So she's got to backfill the customers again. So
Yeah.
guys, get really good at asking that so that you have to backfill more customers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a good problem to have.
But it's really like you said, if you can get a customer, if you're doing these things, it's going to take you guys a minute. It's not going to happen overnight tonight. You're going to definitely shift again, mindset every day moving forward. You're going to have these conversations to be able to now have distributors. And that's at 99, you guys.
Mhm.
She said she was sharing the 99 and
Yeah.
not even offering the 50% off codes. And
Yeah,
that's
so
more
I
serious.
had a girl message me and she said, "Well, my friend offered, I didn't know her previously, but I knew she would be a heavy hitter because she was at the company before. She was an Emerald, and so I call them heavy hitters, right? Like girls that you just know. I mean, we all know there's those people. And so I said, I just want you to pray about what it is for you. Like it's 99 to join with me, but you also get my mentorship for free. So you just need to pray about and do what's right for you. I don't beg people to join my business. And that's how you guys need to get to is you have to be mentally tough. Like this is a business. You take your emotions and throw them out the door, right? Like you guys have to just start working the business and stop worrying about who sees your message, who sees your post, who likes, it doesn't, none of that matters. Like you have to get over all the objections and just get focused on what you want and what it's going to take. And that's kind of what I did a couple months ago. And I promise you that it's a game changer when you can be mentally tough and just get out of your head and do the things, right? Like I tell my team, the magic right now is in your inbox. It is not on Facebook scrolling. It is not on Instagram Reels. It is definitely in the conversations. So if you need something to do tonight, go ask 100 people to host a post. Try that because you're going to get a bunch of host to post up. You're going to have a bunch of potential customers, right? And tomorrow when you're like, tomorrow you're going to be busy and the next day you're going to be busy. But 3 days from now, you're going to be like, what do I do now? Guess what? Go ask 100 more people to host a post because that is where it's at. It is 100% on fire. Think about this. If 200 of my friends are host to posting, that means that's 200 more posts that I would not have on my wall. That's 200 more networks. Like think about if you did 400. You know what I mean? Like it's limitless and you all have the same opportunity, but you have to do the work, right? We can't do it for you.
Yeah, this is a great question. I mean, they're like, how did you ask 100 people? Like, I mean, that is like, oh my gosh, you didn't do it all in one day, ask 100 people. So kind of walk people through the asking part of how you're getting host to post up.
Yeah. Okay. So if I wanted to ask, I sometimes do ask 100 people in a day. So I just go to my inbox and I just scroll way down to like June probably. And I just go through and I just send a message and I'm like, hey, our team is doing this giveaway this month. All you have to do is throw up a quick post to enter. Would you be willing to do that for me? And I just go send it to like 30 people. And then later on, I'll go send it to 30 more. And then later on, I'll go send it to 30 more. It doesn't take that long, especially when you're just copy and pasting it. And I don't use boards or anything, which I know are great, but I don't. I just do the same thing over and over and over and over again.
So if you were to tell a newbie, like,
Yeah.
right, or somebody that doesn't have as many way back messages, where would you start with that to get the
Okay.
post going?
What I would say is throw up something on your wall. Like I think I have a recent one that's like you can tailor it to anything. Let me see. I would throw up something on my wall that talked about the host to post. Um,
Sometimes I think we just get
yeah.
caught in our own head, you guys, and like, where do we start? So yeah, you have
Okay,
any
yeah, so there are really
conversations.
two stages, right? Some of you guys just need to grow your network. And so like one of my girls is like that. She has like 100 friends on Facebook. And so I'm like, this is what you're going to do for the rest of the month, right? You're going to stay consistent with your posting, but all your host posts are going to be to grow your network. And so this is what I had her do. Like socks on or off when you sleep. So silly, but it works. Tell me for a chance at $800 cash or the prize pack on my page next week, right? So every person that commented on her post, I had her post the same thing, or her friend post the same thing, like socks on or off. My friend Sherry Ann is giving away this. Um, Tell me for a chance to enter, right? So then all her friends are posting just the giveaway post, okay? So then Sherry Ann will go to that post and she'll reply to all the comments, like everyone's saying on, off, on, off, on, off. And she's just going to say, hey, I'm the friend whoever mentioned, add me as a friend and message me October to enter. Does this
Mhm.
make sense? I hope
Yeah.
this is like
Yeah.
simple enough to follow. Okay. So guess what? All those people are going to message Sherry Ann October. So Sherry Ann's going to say, hey, all you have to do is post this, the same thing, and message me done and highlight the comments, right? So all their friends are going to post socks on or off. Tell me for a chance at Sherry Ann's $800, right? Sherry Ann will have 300. Even if Sherry Ann starts and 10 people to post for her, Sherry Ann can easily get 300 new friends doing that, right? Because it's just like their network and their network and their network and their network, right? And so all those people are adding her, right? And then she's still consistent with her posting. And you can even, there's so many ways to do this, you guys, but you can even have all your friends host a post, just the giveaway, and all their friends then start to host a post the products if you're a little bit further in and don't need to grow your network as much.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, so many great tips, you guys. It's like, where are you at with the business? If
Yeah.
you're new and you need to grow your network, like, here's that. And don't be afraid, I think, too, to ask the person that had you that entered you into the business, signed you up as a distributor to be like, hey, where do I start? I'm not getting what I want. I want to get the host to post up. Let's do all this week, just growing your network, all this month, whatever that looks like. And then you'll be able to start getting there. So everybody starts at start. You guys, I didn't even have Facebook when I joined. And so sometimes we're looking at this and going, oh my gosh, this is 100. She's getting hundreds. Well, again, she's been in for a long time. So again, to have some success, you got to stick it out. So please, when you join, don't quit on yourself in 3 weeks, in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days. You don't know where the business is going to take you because it took me, almost a year to go double diamond. And so there's these times where you're like, man, I just feel like Stephanie's been up there forever. Well, no, I've worked in these seasons to grow that. So know that you're on track. If you're feeling frustrated, we'll all go through that, but you can control that and you can grow your network. So thank you for explaining kind of a little bit on that part too. So I think,
Yeah, so no matter if you're new or old, doesn't matter. You guys need to have a long-term vision with this. And when you start thinking like that, it becomes more fun, honestly, because it's more like a game. It's like how fast can I
mhm.
versus when you're looking at it like I can't, like if you're negative, right? That's all you're going to continue to get. And so Brooke Heinzler is probably on, and her and I play a game, and you guys can find someone to do this with you too. I mean, it's really not a game. It's like legit, but we always message each other and just say like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, every time we get an enrollment. And I'm very spiritual, and I probably should have started like that. Like I give all the glory to God because like I literally get in my shower every day and I pray, you guys. And so what works for me might not work for you, but I promise you, if you ask God what to do, He will tell you. Like, literally, if you go to your shower every morning, you're like, God, I really want to grow my business and help people get started and help moms make money and help people get results with the products. Like, God will lead you in the right direction, but you have to listen and you have to do the work. And I think that when you put your faith and your business together like that, it's going to totally, totally blow up your business because he's never not told me. You know what I mean? Like some days he's like, go do host to post, and I will. Some days he's like, you need to write thank you notes to your customers. And that's another thing that I think is really important that I do is I write a simple thank you note and I can send it to you, Steph.
Okay.
But it's just like, hey, it's like, thank you so much for your order. Um, you've unlocked my VIP perks and you'll get my discount on all one-time orders. I have so many people that message me all the time and place one-time orders on top of their auto shipments because I send these cards. It's like insane. And so, and you also unlock these VIP perks as you go. And it says 4 shipment, free product with your shipment. 6 shipment, 50% off coupon emailed to you. 12 shipment, it's just the perks program.
Mhm.
Both perks above. Thank you, Cara. That's it. And I just write out like 50 at a time, and then I just address them at the end of the month and go mail them. But when you give thanks to your customers and you ask God to bring in people who really want the business, He will do that. But you have to ask and you have to work like that.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. Like I'm even seeing people in the chat like dropping, scripture in
Yes.
there. And yeah, if you listen and you lead and you're doing the right thing, like I'm always like, okay, just send me the right ones. And I'm just like, how does that, okay, I need to ask more. Don't be afraid to ask. Like, just do it. But a key thing is you got to do the work too. You can't just ask and then not do anything with that. And I think that that's always been for me. I'm like, again, I was willing to do the work. So you're all on. Every single one of you are willing to do the work. So don't waste it and pray about that tonight. Pray over your business, over your team, over yourself, over your family, like all of those things, and watch your business just flourish. That's going to be my word for 2025. I actually told Joel I had my scripture and everything already. He goes, "That's early," and I was like, "Oh, when you know, you know." And yeah, so that's just what's going to happen for all of you guys because I pray about that a lot too for everybody that even if you didn't know that, now you know. So any last minute things because I feel like this was just so good, so simplified. Like I'm excited to be super organized. Like, is everybody else excited? I'm like,
You
yes,
guys are going to sign like 50 customers. Like they're going
yes.
to.
Yes, I believe that. Well, I appreciate you. I see you just showing up so big and it's so inspiring, for people that are like, can I do this? Can I get to ambassador? Like all of those seasons. So I'm excited to celebrate you when you hit ambassador before the house is built, to just show others what's possible, right? Like that's what you're doing is you're showing others when you take it in and you decide what's possible. So I just appreciate you so, so much. And Joel's going to close us out with prayer because that's how we should do this. And then we can all go get to work.
Thank
Dear
you.
Father,
Thank you for having me. Sorry.
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for an amazing day, an amazing lesson. Just ask that you would continue to bless us as we go out this week and we go to finish the month strong. Bring in the right people that need this so that we can go out and impact and change their lives. There are people out there that are hurting, that are looking. Help these people to be the mouth and the hands and the feet that go out to change people's lives and to do incredible things for your kingdom this week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.